every time I hit that start button, I'm like, do I know what I'm going to talk about? Probably not. I mean, I have an idea, but anyways, this talk is basically about it's my thoughts on loyalty. Like, obviously, everybody to some extent understands the concept of loyalty and its importance. I mean, mainly because to do things requires, excuse me, other folks, other people. And like when we have a goal, we need to see to it that every role is fulfilled by somebody. Every role is played by somebody who's going to do what they need to do. And furthermore, not only do they need to do what they need to do, but they need to not intentionally screw us up. So it's like when I think about loyalty, I don't know exactly my focus on this conversation, but I think about, people get close to you and they're down, like they're on your side, they're on your team, but what's that thing that's going to pull them away from you? What's that what's that thing that's going to make them not just pull away from you, but do something to your detriment for their own sake? It's like you work for a business or you own a business and somebody works for you. Let's think of it from the employee side, like from your side. You're the employee, you work for somebody, you're on a team, you are doing what you're doing. How do you consider how much respect you have for the organization that gives you an opportunity to provide for yourself, regardless of the capacity in which you were able to provide? How deep does your loyalty run? Do you understand? Do you know what it will take for you to turn your back? Um, it's the idea. I heard, forgive me again, anytime anybody's name comes out of my mouth, I want to see to it that I have the utmost respect. So that is my intention going forward. It always has been, but especially with what I'm about to say, given the how recent it has been. But I was listening to a talk by Nipsey Hussle, and he was talking about how he doesn't trust a snake. And I don't know the whole interview, but he was saying the snake, if it has not bit you, it simply has just chosen not to bite you yet. And there's a lot of truth behind that. Some people may never be bitten by a snake. I don't know the statistical probability on that. But that goes beyond just a snake, though. I think that that is applicable to dogs, that's applicable to cats. It's like any entity that exists with some level of consciousness and intellect has its own ability to choose to bite you or not. So the question is, why has it not bitten you? What will it take for it to bite you? Which is like the opposite side of the same coin, maybe. I don't know if I'm describing that properly, but all of us as human beings have the ability to not bite somebody, to not turn on somebody, to express our loyalty. But what is it that will make us turn? I believe that it is not always about intentionally trying to destroy. I think sometimes it's just simply about obviously monetary gain, some sort of gain, but also I think it can happen through a lack of understanding. And it's like myself, when I socialize, I keep everybody at a distance because I don't know who you are. I don't know your intentions. But also, from my own perspective, I know that I don't always know the rules of the relationship. So I don't know how you feel about everything. So there might be something that I'll do that you may not be happy with. It could be as simple as if I'm in your house, like, and I help myself in your fridge, I might be under the impression. that I can just open your fridge if I want to, and that may upset you. Now, that is just a light example, very light, almost so light it may not get my point across. And also, if I'm in your house, I'm probably not going to open up your fridge without your permission. In fact, you might offer me something and I will say no. But it's just to serve as an example of how loyalty and trust is broken. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes it's for gain, sometimes it's to see you destroyed, and other times it's simply because of lack of knowledge of boundaries. Um, and there are what 7 billion people in the world. I mean, I've just started hearing people say that there are 7 billion. It doesn't seem too long ago that they were saying that there are 6 billion people in the world. I don't know how many there are, but I know I haven't met a fraction of them, and I'm sure I met thousands of people. But I mean, still a drop of water in the bucket, right? So to think about the statistics, the probability on you being betrayed and somebody betraying you is high. So I think on the thoughts of loyalty, I mean, there needs to be a dialogue, as many dialogues between as many people and as many groups of people as there can be, so that we can gain some clarity on, the rules, and we'll find out where each one of us stands. And I get like everybody can have different rules, and that's fine. Like, that could be a good thing. We'll just like agree to disagree, and as long as you stay over there, I'll stay over here, and we'll stay in our own lane. But aside from that, I think about this whole idea of, um, if there is a group of people out there who can help you, or to take it a step further, who are hogging all the resources fairly or unfairly, with the thought in mind of betrayal and loyalty, why would they help anybody else? I'm not saying what they should or they shouldn't do, but thinking from their perspective, if they've amassed some sort of advantage, resources, what would it be? Why would, you know, for what reason would they extend an olive branch when not only can you turn on them, but you might wreck their whole situation, their whole setup? And it's kind of like this idea of, you help who is showing signs that they're helping themselves, that they are trying, because if you just help somebody who's showing no effort, then that's a liability. And I guess what it comes down to is liability versus assets. Now, I am no investor. I am not a mentor of anybody. I am not a scholar. I am just a dude. I am just a square thinking about this stuff. But I think collectively, it's like a vote. We could tell people what they ought to do. We could talk about the general effect, um, and other things that I can't think about now. But what I can think about right now is that everything happens individually, and so I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what I think I should do, and hope that you learn the lesson that you pick up from it. Like everything starts with me. It starts with me learning about the boundaries with people, testing them sometimes, finding out that I went too far, and genuinely coming back and asking for forgiveness, and where I can where I can make up for it, I do make up for it. Um, but I mean, it's a tricky subject. It's a slippery slope. I am not a scholar. I can't. I don't even know how many thumbs down this video would get if it were exposed. But I mean, with all that said, just think about that to yourself. If it means anything to you, uh, just the general concept of loyalty. And if anybody comments back, maybe I'll have, I can take this dialogue, further in any direction other than just trying to come up with something off the top of my head. But I appreciate it.